Okay.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael from Michael Harden from Norwalk Parking Authority. It's a regularly scheduled meeting. It is 6:06. My fault for the delay. Welcome all. So we're going to get started with the agenda right away. Normally, I understand we don't normally meet on in August, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Exciting month for us, so I'm glad you guys are here for this. Is there anyone out in the public for comments?
No, there's not. There is not.
All right, well, if somebody, chimes in, let us know, but that's good. All right, so we have to vote in the minutes from the previous meeting. Anybody have any corrections, additions, or subtractions to the meeting minutes of July 28th?
I don't.
All those in favor to vote in as read?
Aye.
Second. All right. That's a quorum. That's all of us. So that motion passes. Excellent. The only thing I'm doing for chairman's report is introducing James, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jim to talk to us a little bit about the new person on staff who's going to be dedicated to parking. Jim, why don't you talk to us a little bit about James and introduce him for us?
Yes, sir. So we went through a pretty competitive process to identify someone who's going to assist the leadership for parking for Norwalk. We had a number of great candidates, but I think that we had one that from the panel that reviewed that shined brighter than any other. Not that I want to give him a big head, right?
Be careful.
It's too late for that.
We were really looking for someone who, with some strong customer service skills that would have a commitment to engaging the businesses, engaging the residents, understanding the nuances of the business, and how to get us to the next level. And also someone who had the analytic skills that was going to look at where are we, what's the best business practices that should be doing. Someone that understands technology, someone that understands dynamic parking, and potential opportunities for us to have that in the future, right? And I think when we looked at the boxes that we wanted, we had James who pretty much checked every one of the boxes and did so in a very upbeat manner. And I think so James is on his second week with us right now, and has really hit the ground running. So today he participated in the citation hearings, which was the first time in 18 months that we began our citation hearings again. So looking through that process, and we'll work with legal to expedite that, and really get that number down. But credit to Rocky and the team. We went through them before James's arrival here, and looked at opportunities to contact some of the violators and looked to negotiate, and so we got it down to 155, so a pretty good number from where we were. And we're going to diligently be working on that, and James will be an integral part of that, as he also gets to listen to why people are getting citations, right? What is their things, and then a fresh set of eyes on what we could do better, right? And I think that's a great thing, right? I think we do a wonderful job, but everybody can do better, right? Mike, you can catch more lobsters, right? We can always do something more, and I think that James is going to be those eyes to get us to do something more. He's looking right now. We're doing a lot of analytics. So we're, I think one of the things is, we've been challenged with, some revenue reductions in the parking authority. And, in light of COVID, and people not coming to work, we can't get new parkers, right? But we can do is make sure that the system is working optimally, that we have, benefit, cost sharing where we can, where we have, cost efficiencies where they're in place. And, James is going to be looking at those, and looking at meters. So, so without further ado, so James came to us from, largely technical background. So IPS, and in full disclosure, James worked for me for about, I don't know, a long time ago, 12 years ago or something. So James has been at IPS, which has been one of the, leading, meter companies out there that have branched out to other forms of business. So he got to be on the ground floor of that and be part of a growing business, and grew and had offices on the East Coast and West Coast. So he's now full-time with his family here on the East Coast, and I think probably a little happy about that. Right? So James, I want to say hi to you met Mike. I think we have Judd Alley on here, and we have Tom. Yeah, Tom, or you're in the corner. I didn't see you for a minute, Tom. Sorry. And then we have Eric that we will make you will stop by and see him at some time.
Perfect.
Team, this is a new guy for you to reach out to for everything parking related.
Welcome.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks everybody. It's nice to put some faces to some names finally. Even though it is via Zoom, eventually I'm hoping to be able to meet each and every one of you in person. I'm super excited to be here. I'm really happy. The challenges and the unique situation that the city of Norwalk is in, I think is really exciting. I think we've got a long way to go, but I think with the team that I've met so far, I have no doubts that we can get there. And I'm really excited to see what we can do for the city and for the citizens of Norwalk.
Outstanding. Well, thanks, James. I appreciate you coming aboard, and I think we're going to do a lot of cool stuff. I want to talk briefly about, in the past, the person who held your position prior had a certain way of doing things, and we are all here with years under our belt on this board. I'm just looking around here, it's years. Doing things in a certain way. We're kind of, I don't want to say we're in a rut, but we're kind of in a way of doing things. So I would look to you, and maybe you and I should meet offline about this a little bit more, but I would look to you to talk more about how you want to run that and how you want the communication string to be. Who you want to talk, who you want us to talk to first, and how you want us to proceed. I think that's something I'd like to get from you first, just to see how you like to let it run.
Sure. No, I really appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. I think that's actually, one of my strengths and one of the things that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I've got a lot of catching up to do, right? The who's who, whose responsibility is whose. I'm still working on that, getting my feet wet. But I'm coming along pretty quickly. So I think that's perfect. I think maybe offline, if we sit down, have a little chat at some point and really streamline the communication, because that's one of the most important things, without a doubt, is communication. If we're not all communicating and we're not on the same page and we're not articulating properly to each other, then like any other team, we'll fail. So
right.
I think that's very important.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything on this topic?
Yeah, welcome to Norwalk, James.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. It's nice not having to commute to San Diego anymore. So I will take it.
I bet.
Yeah, that is a much longer commute than it is to Norwalk.
What's your commute now?
In the morning, it's about an hour. In the afternoon, it's about a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It really all depends on a lot of factors.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad.
Okay.
My 2 cents is to say welcome also.
Thank you.
And I'm the Wall Street guy. If you want a tour of that area at some point, let me know. I'm happy to tell you all the good stuff and bad stuff about that part of town.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Tom.
Yep. You're welcome.
Excellent. All right, let's jump into the financial and operating reports, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Stott.
So, yeah, I want to welcome James, who I've gotten to know him, over the recent past with his stint at IPS and his work on the Norwalk Parking Authority account. So it's great to see him and have him on board. Rocky, do you want to pull up the ops report? While I'll talk a little bit about the financials. So this is the first month. You can go right to the second page to the graph. So this is really the first month of the fiscal year 2022. And what we've seen post, or I'm calling it post-COVID, but in the tail end of the COVID time period, is that we've seen a steady increase in transient revenue, and especially from February, March till now, we're getting up to surpassing pre-COVID levels on the demand side. On the revenue side, we are recovering, and again, since February, March through today, this month, you can see that trend line as well. And we're still lagging a little bit behind, mainly on the permit side, because we're still waiting for employers, and they're creating their return to work policies in this coming year. So we'll see the impact that has. We have, since then as well, we have the customer courtesy card program is back to what I would say normal. And we have started some R&M projects that we had deferred or delayed, due to the pandemic, for cost savings measures or deferrals, that are starting up again. And Rocky will get into that at the end of the report, because we've added a project status report to the operations report, so you could see by geographic area of the system what work is being done. Excuse me. So the last few months we haven't really been doing much comparing to budget and to last year, because we know that's always been increasing at big levels. But what we're trying to compare to is to pre-COVID levels. So when we look back to fiscal year 20, so July of 19, when we look at those numbers, we see that we are, on the revenue side anyways, we're at 97% of where we were pre-COVID. So that's now reflected in this report. You can keep going, Rocky, if you want, but it's not reflected in this first, executive summary page.
Rocky, wait a second. Rocky, do me a favor and just reduce your screen by one notch. It's overflowing on my screen. Yeah, perfect. Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
So
Sorry.
if you kind of equalize what happened in July of 19 to July of 21, this past month, you'll see that, on the revenue side, we're over, we're 97% of COVID numbers. We've done a great job still of managing those expenses. And if you factor in the, excuse me, the additional repairs and maintenance that we've done in July, compared to 2 years ago pre-COVID, if you equalize that out, we're back to really just over where we were on the surplus level, the operating surplus for July of 19. So that is a huge accomplishment, I think, and I think a great job to everybody.
Mhm.
On transient activity, this past July to 2 years ago, that's actually up over 7%. And it's actually the highest July numbers we've had in terms of demands in the last 10 years. Since we've been tracking these numbers. So that is a great sign. And a lot of that is coming from the Maritime garage. So if you want to scroll down, Rocky, we can just hit a few of the locations. We won't hit every one of them.
Hey, Stoff.
Yeah,
Before you go too far, I noticed that the transient activity is higher than it's ever been. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering, I expect things to come back to some type of normal, but I'm sort of on high alert for what that normal is going to be. Like, I don't think it's going to be the same as it was 2 years ago. I think the parking usage is going to shift in some way post COVID. Have you guys noticed any difference in people's habits or how they're using the parking?
not yet, other than generally speaking, people are just anxious to get out and do things. So you have that, and if you look at Maritime Garage in particular, I mean, it's kicking butt there. I mean, they opted into that state program for free admission.
Yeah.
All the state parks and all that. So that increased. But there's also some seasonality to all our locations.
Yeah, but again, I see the maritime parking permit activity, that purple dot. I guess somebody chose purple for 2022. We're gonna ride on the purple. Okay, we can do that. I don't think we voted on that, but we can keep that. And then on the Maritime Garage transient, it's up off the charts at 32.
Yeah.
32K. And so there's sort of a weird feeling that people are going to use parking in a different way, and I just want to kind of be on high alert for that. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna probably be. I mean, everybody probably has their own opinions, but people are just anxious to get out now, and that's why we're seeing, especially kind of in the hospitality or entertainment areas, that activity level go up.
Okay.
Now on the permit levels, again, until businesses create their return to work policies and get people back into the 3 days a week or 4 to 5, we'll see permits still kind of lagging behind on the revenue side. So, but virtually every location is at or above pre-COVID levels in terms of demand. There's going to definitely be seasonality. How much it'll drop, I guess time will tell. If I had laid out the Maritime Garage or any location, they would all pretty much look similar to the lines they are, except for the drop, during COVID. It's amazing the I don't know, the reliability of kind of the seasonality of the location. So, and then transient demand actually, in Maritime, since you're on it, it was actually 160% higher than it was 2 years ago pre-COVID. So
yeah.
so that, you can go down Rocky to Haviland, that's surpassing pre-COVID levels in demand, and in revenue.
So you're saying maybe it's just part of the continuing trend and not really an anomaly. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think if I'm a normal consumer or a normal, person, I want to get out more. People are doing more things. What's going to happen with this new variant? Who knows? But it's going to stabilize at some point. But
okay.
So those locations are rebounding. The railroad station is coming back, but we're still significantly below pre-COVID levels at like 40% over at the railroad station garage. So, that's obviously a function of employment and people getting back to work. So we'll see where that is. In the Wall Street district, we're seeing that pick up. The Main Street lot in particular, we have residential parkers that are the reason for that uptick in permit activity. See there, Rock? Yeah. So we had a big jump on the graph there, and that's kind of the trend that we've been seeing. I won't go through every location unless you want to see a particular one, but we can scroll down to let me get there. The on-street the on-street program. Demands, revenue is up there. We're seeing, activity there again. And again, I think people coming back out, if you look at just the pay by cell transactions, just from on-street transactions, that's way up. Way up, and part of that is, I'm sure, because of COVID, all the touchless, contactless activity that people are involved with, and they're getting out to. You can see the large percentage of mobile pay, text to park as a percent of the total transient revenue pie. And so
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting to note that I've noticed while going through some of the data, and Stothy just touched on it, is pay by cell transactions. I've seen the pay by cell trends over the years for many municipalities and universities and even private entities. And there seems to be what I'm noticing is a little bit of a unique situation with the city of Norwalk when it comes to the adaptation of pay by cell and pay by cell transactions. Statistically, right now, our pay by cell transactions are through the roof comparative to other municipalities of this size, which I think is an interesting statistic and something that we should definitely keep our eye on when it comes to making future decisions. It's a really, really good thing for sure.
Thanks, James. Yeah, that's true. And I think, the board and Snyder and the whole marketing plan in terms of getting more usage in the program has really worked, and the outreach that staff has had too. So
Jim, when you speak pay by cell, you are not including the Park Mobile app.
Yeah, that is the Park Mobile and in the
Wrapped up into one, the text to the park and the Park Mobile app together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think
I personally haven't differentiated the Park Mobile and the text to pay numbers yet,
Okay.
but I can tell you together that they're doing very, very well.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
we
Our Park Mobile app is very active in the city. Definitely.
It's great.
We have that separated now, but we're gonna these pie charts you'll see a little more condensed now. So we'll have a coin and bill is one bucket, and then credit card is another, and then the kind of mobile pay and text to park to make it a little easier to see. But yeah, the trends are great.
Yeah, you're right. It should just be cash, card, or mobile payment. Makes
Yeah,
it easy.
well, that's kind of three buckets because
Yeah.
So on the enforcement side, we are seeing, of course, an uptick because of the beaches going into effect, and also because we're consistently enforcing now because as we come out of COVID, and that was kind of the direction of the board. Let's consistently and reasonably enforce.
That's a really good point. I didn't think that the ticketing from the beaches was going to be on this report. I know the violations system is going to be on this report, but I didn't think that, for some reason, I didn't think ticketing was going to be on this report at the beaches.
They all come through the system. I mean, we could filter that out in the future, so you can kind of see it, without that. So, because that's going to impact, Judd's report too, on the numbers. We'll see that, up from last month or down to last month. It was up from the previous month, because of that.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see that broken down stuff.
When,
Yeah, agreed.
Stoth, when did you start including the beaches? It's been a year or so?
So we've been operating there. It's been, what, the third year, Rocky?
Yeah,
Oh, that long?
the start of 3, right?
Wow.
I think I agree. I think I agree with Mike from an analytics standpoint. I think it's more helpful to have those separated, just so we can have a better idea of what the differences are between the two.
Yeah, I think for those particular months where there is that activity, maybe we'll provide just another page for beach or factoring that out. Because it jumped up.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
it
think
does.
needs to
It
be-
skews the whole rest of the city for me. It should be broken out. If you have the ability to break it out, I would ask that you do that.
Yeah, we can do that. And then moving to Judd's report, which Rocky has up, the ratio of tickets to demand. That the purple mark is down from last month, but it still looks pretty high on this ratio. But we know why a lot of that is from
But-
beach as well.
Again, that includes the beach in that number, right?
Right, Rocky? I'm pretty sure we do.
Yes, the beach numbers are included in this number, yes.
Okay.
And then we talked about the customer courtesy program and how we kind of normalize that back to its original intent. So you'll see that reflected in the program days. That's on the next page, Rocky. You'll see that. So we had 11 program days and 352 courtesy tickets were given. We gave $176 in meter time, and there were still violations after that, 100 of them. But the value of those courtesy tickets, if they were real citations, was $6,300. Hey, like we were talking about, is always been a great story since we started here 10 years ago, and this month is basically on the same path. We're recovering. The bottom graph is the bar graph is kind of a year-to-date comparison, so you can see where we are July to July to July over the last 3 fiscal years, 4 fiscal years. The adjudication statistics, I'm sure Rocky or Jim might want to, I think they already mentioned the hearings that went on. So I don't know if there's anything more to that that you want to chime in on.
I think we covered it before. I think, we know where we are and we finally have a path forward. We had a lot of no-shows up today. So we're going to amp up the number that we're going to address, next month and see where it is. And that was with some phone calls to connect to these folks. So we'll see where we are. We'll start to, I think we have a path that we're going to see, this number go down significantly, get back to a manageable number in a short.
Good. And then we'll see that reflected in this report too on the no-shows.
Yeah, I think we had 30 scheduled for today, and I believe only 8 showed up. And we've also already engaged talks with legal on maybe doing more of an all-day thing with some extended hours to really try and cut down on those numbers in October, or even possibly doing multiple, instead of once a month, having multiple days, maybe 2 or 3 days to really chip away through this backlog. Legal's on board. They're making room for us, and they said October is fairly open for them now. So I'm working on getting that scheduled in with Rocky so we can really try and cut down on that backlog as much as we can.
James, if you're a no-show for your hearing, do you get another chance, or is the ticket just need to get paid?
I would like to either pull in Rocky or Stothy to answer that, but I believe this was the last opportunity for you at this point.
Right.
Is that true?
Correct. Yeah, that was the last opportunity, unless people come back with a legit reason why they didn't show up. The ticket is now from being fraud, on a freeze state into an escalation stage.
Perfect.
And then the last piece Rocky will talk about is the project status report. To tell you a little bit about what's going on across the system. So it's all yours, Rocky. You're on mute.
Okay, so should I jump into the maintenance part of it? You know, right after this, Jim, I don't know if it's in sequence or not.
So, Mike, I think it is, it'll be covered later, but if you want to knock it out now, I think we could do it now.
Are you talking about the project status report?
So he's gonna do some outreach, but it's also gonna tie into the maintenance and cleaning update that we've asked to be on. So it's a little out of order, but I think we can take it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just like hearing Rocky talk. You go ahead, bud. We're here for you.
All right. On the maintenance side of it, the daily, cleanup, all the other jobs that for the maintenance is still, going on. It's on the project update file that you're seeing. And we also added these, the visits to the businesses, as Jim's mentioned, as part of, the project updates. But on the maintenance side of it, we've done some, major projects at the railroad station. There was a lighting upgrade that we did inside the lobby by new area that was picked up by Jim. The lights were regular lights, and there was different colors. So we've upgraded those to an LED lighting. The lobby area, all the stairwells going up. We've finished that project in July. Railroad garage, Kalina, I have to make a correction on this one. It's train station is not completed. That's actually scheduled for September 21st to be completed. The ones that are completed are the Maritime garage and the Haviland deck drainage cleanup that's completed. So I'll update this and make a correction. This is September 2021 for completion. And we also power washed the Haviland lower deck. There has been some complaints, some concerns about pigeons in a lower Haviland deck and also at the Maritime garage. So we've been power washing, we've been cleaning, and we've put some noise that deters pigeons to hang out in the lower Haviland. And we were able finally, to use a chemical that's being put on the deck where they hang out. It's not a chemical that does anything to them. It's just that a sticky chemical. So they just get scared of that and stay away from it. So we're testing that. We did that last week, beginning of last week, and we've seen some changes. So some pigeons not showing up over at the Haviland and a Maritime garage. If that works out, we're going to roll that out also at the South Norwalk train station. We have some pigeon issue as well.
Hey, Rocky.
Yes.
Just when you do your outreach, were you able to go on any of those visits?
Yes, I was actually, me and Tanya actually went to, yes, I was with Sanya. We went to Maca Noodle, Alex's Lounge, Bandito, the restaurant, and Salt Water. So we spoke with the managers, and the Maca Noodle, we spoke with the manager. Alex Lounge, Bandito, and Salt and Water, we actually spoke with the owners. And we described to them, we explained to them about the new pay station coming up, and which they didn't have much of recommendation for it. We told them about the pay station, but they were happy about the fact that when we roll out the validation program that they will be able to validate. So they were happy about it.
Okay.
The only Bandito restaurant was the only one that was a little bit against, the pay station because it was right in front of the store. But that was, we walked, when me, Jim, and Garrett walked, the street. That was the only good spot that we could put in there. It's not invading in space. It's just that he just didn't like it.
Rocky, as far as those pigeons are concerned, it makes me think about, 4 years ago now, we gave up some space and we did a easement for them to move all the garbage to that one area and actually put what do you call those garbage compressors, machines in there. Did we ever hear anything from that? I have a feeling that never got done.
You mean the Haviland deck, correct?
The Haviland deck is, yes, I'm still on the pigeons.
Yes, they did move the compressor towards the entrance of the lower deck. But I'm glad you brought that up because we've been noticing that all the the garbage oil that they're bringing back through the dumpster area, even though it's within their their property side, there's some oil leaking on the ground. So Kevy has reached out to the property manager in there to see if they can clean up that area because that doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's one area so close to the center of town. That's one area that we want to be very strict about as to our capabilities, keeping that area clean. Because I did notice that it's a little messy.
Correct.
Can you just talk a little bit more about? Oh, I can't move the thing. Updating the pay stations.
Updating the pay station, yes, we do have an update. We installed all the pay station both in the north and south side, a total of 5 pay stations. We started the installation yesterday, and Kevin and his team, the maintenance team, has finished installing them today, and they're operational and they're accepting payment. The old IPS meters that were on the 15-minute side are the head are removed, and the poles will cut them. It was too hot, and the guys were a little tired to finish up that today. But they moved the head for the single space meter, and all 5 base stations are installed and are functional currently.
I'd like to have some sort of tutorial on those new multimeter stations, not just for me, but for the rest of the commissioners as well. Is there a tutorial there, or can we meet you out there one day and get a quick lesson on the new stuff?
Absolutely, we can do that. It is very simple. It's a touch screen. It's the newer version. So yeah, we can do a tutorial whenever you want. We'll go out and we'll have a lobster too.
Fair enough.
Are they same as over on Wall Street or slightly different?
The same one as Wall Street, but slightly different. This one is just a more upgraded one. This version.
Okay, but the
It's a better display, but everything operationally it's the same, Judd. It's
Okay.
just a better display.
They're pretty self-explanatory.
Correct.
Yep.
And then one more, it's a ceiling repair at the Maritime garage on Marshall Street. There were actually pigeons going in there, and the residential piece, the condo units were complaining about wind coming through those ceilings. So we repaired that at the Marshall exit as well for the month of July.
Is that something we split with the co-op, or is that just on us?
This is fully on us because it's part of the garage. That it doesn't have anything with the condo.
Okay.
Right. That's it. Maintenance wise.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you.
Am I still on mute?
Questions?
I'm gonna try to.
All right. Who wants to do the financial statement? It's in very small print.
Do that already?
I'm sorry?
About the July financials?
Oh, I have it here. No, you're right. Okay. Excellent.
Kind of hit it a little bit.
Yeah, we did hit it. Vanessa is not with us.
No,
see her.
Vanessa is off today, so I did meet with her yesterday and can give you a quick update on where we are for the engineering update.
Please.
Basically, so the Webster Lot Green Infrastructure Project, there is a pre-construction meeting scheduled for August 31st. The contractor is Kelowna, who was the low bid contractor for the job. While this is the first job that the Kelowna is doing in Norwalk, I can tell you that I had used him numerous times in Stamford. He does really great work. Really happy with them. Think he's going to be the right person on board. So we are set for the pre-con meeting. After the pre-con meeting, we'll have that's when we get a schedule of construction for him. So we'll have more to report after that. But everything is moving forward. Regarding the South Norwalk Railroad Station Improvement Project, the contractor Capasso has just gotten the permit from Metro North to do the work. As you know, anytime that construction outside entity construction projects has to do around the train station, we have to get special permits from Metro North. Those typically take a little longer to get, but we were able to get them now, so we're pretty anxious to move forward. While train operations are down a little bit, it gives a little bit more time. We don't have to pay a flagger as much. We may be able to use flaggers that are further up the line. So we see maybe some potential cost benefits. And then we did do a walkthrough with Capasso and identified additional opportunities for them to do some improvements and address some issues in the station while they're on site. So they're going to be preparing those potential change orders that are still within the amount allocated for us to spend without having to go back. So in short, all moving forward and on schedule. You're on mute, Mike, if you were talking.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. I was just reviewing the list I had on my sheet from last month. Or 2 months ago, rather. So that's great. All right. Cool. I want to touch off quickly on the cleaning and maintenance from Laz. I know you guys were working really hard in the South Norwalk station. We did have our blow dryer guest back at one of the outlets that had been broken into, and she was blow drying the floor for a little while there, and so we are continuing to try to close out those electrical outlets that are out in the public eye. I know there was that, and the general cleanliness, which has improved greatly, I think, throughout the station that I go. I'm always at South Norwalk train station, so I'm always looking around there, and it looks really good so far. It looks much better than it ever did, I think. And the next thing we have here for us is new business. Tom, do you have any new business for the commission?
No, but can we back up real quick?
Yes, of course.
Engineering things.
Yep.
The Wall Street bollards, is there any update on those?
So we missed over that one. Under the project report. So for the bollards, we had, as you know, before we took off some additional bollards. Initially we took off some bollards from River Street, and we took off some bollards from Wall Street. We had no issues reported from any of those. Vanessa asked that we, before we look to remove all of the bollards, that we expand the pilot. So we took additional bollards off of River Street and additional bollards off of Wall Street. Still no issues are reporting. So we anticipate that we will run through this period, and when Vanessa is on board with us for next, just run through making sure they're okay, and then before the holiday season, get rid of those yellow bollards that are on Wall Street and River Street.
Great.
Great, Jim, thank you.
We're gonna miss them. Thank you. Yeah.
You're gonna miss them now. I'm gonna hear about that, right?
Can I have one?
So I'd like to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, my wife needs it.
Oh, I'm not going to tell her that.
Okay. I would like to make a request when we're talking about the engineering stuff, and the Ballards is a good example, I would love to have some photographs that we can put up at this meeting to see exactly what we're talking about. Because I know, for instance, I don't get to the Wall Street area at all, really, or very much. Tom practically lives there, and I know he's not at the South Norwalk train station that much. So amongst the commissioners, it would help us greatly even if you took a couple quick shots of what you're talking about when you're talking about physical, the from the cleaning to the repairs to the maintenance to everything, that we get a little visual on screen here. Although I hope moving forward, we turn this into a personal person-on-person meeting. But obviously that's left to be seen. But if it's not too much trouble, I know sometimes that can be a pain in the neck, but.
No, I think it's a value to Mike.
Okay.
I think it'll help to spread it. I think also, when we look at some of the larger things that Laz has done, like I was in, Maritime, earlier or, in the week, and I walked indoor and I was like, wow, the railings are painted, right? So it's nice to see it, right? And I think if everyone could see some of the benefits, that also, it is a way to communicate, the hard work that people do, right? When we talk about removal of bollards, we can show where we've taken some bollards off. A visual, I think would be a good indication. It will most certainly do that going forward.
Yeah. Great. And of course, now I'm going to hang up and take the time to drive all the way over there because I'm dying to see what they look like. Anyway.
I can put one at your house if you want.
Thank you. No.
Because Judd wants one too.
You can drop it off at Judd's house. That's fine. Okay. So we touched off on new business, and I want to comment about new business. This is where, for the commissioners, really, this is where you throw out those future ideas that your neighbor talked about, or that you ran into, or something that you might think about bringing to the authority for the future. If anybody has any thoughts on that, now's your chance. So I'm gonna leave that out there, but I've noticed month by month, we just kind of blow through the new business topic. And I want to make sure that we're not taking it for granted, because that's really where all the new cool ideas come from in the past. And we want to keep using that. All right. Is there any old business that we have, done, been good with, screwed up and had to fix, or want to talk about in any way? Tom, I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
I can accommodate that. I move that we adjourn.
Maybe we should wait till 7.
All those in favor, Judd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. James, welcome to the team.
Thanks very much, guys. It was a
Congratulations.
it's a pleasure. I'm really
Congratulations.
looking forward to working with you all. It's going to be a fun ride for sure. Let's do it.
100%. And we'll set
Right.
up a cup of coffee at some point next week, maybe, and talk more.
I think that'll be perfect. Sounds great.
All right.
Good night, everyone. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thanks, team. Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
I